Hello everyone, and welcome to session 142 of Pokerole. Really getting up there now, almost as many as the original generation of Pokemon, as Nikki pointed out the other day to me. But many dramatic things happened the last couple sessions. A big battle, perhaps one of our longest ones we've ever had, has now finally concluded with an unfortunately dangerous bang. And we will see what happens with that. But, before we start, if you like the video, think about giving it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you can think about doing that as well. If you really want to help out, of course, come on over to Twitch, because it's always nice to have more people around. That's always a good thing. And it's nice to have more people talking. That's the best part about it. There's also a Discord community if you want to check that out. And there's also our Pokerole Discord that you can check out off of shared links from that one. There's a Coffee link if you want to help directly monetize. A merch store if you want to buy some merch. I have merch. But look, I don't think anybody's bought my merch before. Somebody should buy my merch. But just saying, you don't have to do it. But and anyways, also, there is a link to our wiki for the game. So you can check out character profiles and episode recaps and everything like that. So all links in the description. You can check them out. But, yes. Hello everyone on the table. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are the rest of you?
Super
nervous,
duper.
I feel sorted and organized now, which is good. And, oh, I guess I should mention for the YouTube video that Kyrio's computer is having issues and he cannot be on voice today. But hopefully those issues will be solved very soon, and that will be different for next session, props. But
Alright, Dungeon 3, which, oh, sorry, you're still introing,
it is
my
40,
bad.
48. And also, this Dungeons 1, not 3. You were not listening whatsoever.
Be nice.
Oh, I just found it funny.
Oh, usually I rely on someone else to click to the right page, and I just say, okay, I agree, go there.
That's the lazy trait. That's the lazy trait. It does work.
That is fair.
But I will hand it off to Car for the recap. And I have one picture to share in the meantime, so I'll do that.
Welcome, everybody, to the table. For partial interest of keeping monetization on this video, I might draw out the recap a little bit.
Oh yeah, I just remembered. Sorry, you mentioned that you wanted to do a content disclaimer for this one.
Correct. However, if we can get it 15 minutes in, that would be optimal, because I don't know how YouTube's going to react to even a disclaimer within the first...
Oh,
it doesn't have to be
disclaimers
15
can be at the
minutes.
beginning. They're fine. As long as, you know, that's fine. You can do a disclaimer now to draw it a little bit of time, too.
Ah, okay. Don't know why that's still there. So, just for disclaimer's sake and making sure that people are comfortable and know what will be coming up in this session, players included, this session will contain heavier subjects, including alcoholism, graphic violence, manipulation, and up to and including death. For those that are not comfortable, I will try and warn you when these things are going to happen. It is safe for me to tell the players that there's going to be cutscene time today.
I will remind that we have a buzzer for the players in the corner, if needed.
Yes, if you need to buzzer and I need to stop something or move on, I can do so. It is there for your comfort. With that said, I should get to the recap, which is also short because it was combat. lasted longer than it lasted longer than I thought it would, and ended not how I thought it would.
Was it our longest fight ever? Because I kind of feel like it might have been.
That might partially be because it was split between 2 episodes. That is to say, yes, it probably was one of the longest fights you all have had.
Mm-hmm.
So, brief recap before the recap for everybody. Team Cheer has made their way into the Moonwide Ruin, at Mawile's behest, since she wanted to study it deeper. The ruin itself, at least at first, appeared to be an observatory, looked over by certain Pokemon, an Oranguru and its troop of Passimians, that had been watching over this place for generations. And there are human-era books that are somehow in readable condition in this place, which only seems to open up under the light of the full moon. As the team ventured inside, Ralph found that that little star metal piece he's been carrying around for quite some time now opens up a door to a facility. Lyre was left in the care of Oranguru and the Passimians on the upper floor, since they aren't exactly a combatant, while the rest, including Mawile, head down into the facility. It's in disrepair, ancient even by ancient standards, and there they find a number of security measures that don't take very kindly to the team being there, including a Rotom from Ralph's past, Georgie. Unfortunately, in order to proceed, Georgie also had to be dealt with, in spite of their best attempts to convince it otherwise. And then Team Cheer proceeded into the deepest parts of the facility, somewhere even more advanced than the upper area. There, it seems that the humans were, for one reason or another, manufacturing cybernetic soldiers, androids. And they were using them to combat the Dead Star, or the Dark Star, whatever the title it may have. That seems to be the purpose of the facility, to create soldiers to combat it. And down in a testing chamber is the last prototype they managed to create. When Team Cheer entered this testing chamber, it activated due to the presence of those sparing aspects. It was modeled after a Lucario. However, as Team Cheer fought it, it upgraded their threat level, considering them catastrophic in nature. It activated a power unlike any it had previously displayed, calling forth 2 androids that had harried the party earlier, forming into weapons and armor that it might better combat the aspect wielders. Then, it summoned some steel soldiers of its own to the battlefield, much like a knight commander. And that is where we picked up, on session 141, At What Cost? To better deal with the reinforcements, Tucker and Rida work together, with Rida riding atop Tucker and communicating via connection to more effectively move between targets to destroy them. Meanwhile, Brooke assists in destroying the reinforcements, while Ralph takes the attention of the mechanical Lucario along with the brunt of their attacks. Mawile attempts to offer assistance via tossing him some healing potions to endure the onslaught, but her efforts mostly result in the machines moving their attentions on her instead of Ralph. Seeing this, Brooke takes down the remaining robots they were battling and attempts to provoke the Lucario into turning their focus to him, which the robot is more than happy to oblige. As Ryda sees Brooke withstand a flurry of blows, they immediately act to defend him by creating a psychic duplicate of the Lucario to parry a dangerous blow. They then instruct Tucker to begin prioritizing the Lucario as well, causing the automaton to have to deal with attacks from multiple sides. As it prepares to use a powerful fiery blast, Ralph moves to stop it by keeping it locked in a grapple, trapping himself and the robot in place. Once it breaks free, it aims its blades towards Ryda, disrupting their telepathy via connection temporarily before Ryda teleports the pair of them out of the way. With no targets in close range again, it aims to ready another blast from the arm cannon, which Tucker is able to move the two out of the way of. Aiming to finish it off, Tucker and Ryda charge Ryda's orb with the power of all three of Tucker's elemental fangs, ending up shattering Ryda's orb and rendering the automaton unable to battle, but causing Ryda to collapse on top of Tucker in the process. We may now swap to Events 2, number 9.
Oh, this one.
Tucker, you feel as Ryda has slumped upon your back, and a pool of liquid warmth seeps into your fur. Brooke and Ralph, you two are unscathed by that blast. But as you turn to look on your companions, you see one who is not nearly so lucky. Ryda! Brooke will immediately throw the sword aside and rush to where Tucker and Ryda are standing.
Yeah. Ralph will rush up to her side too, giving enough space. He doesn't want to overcrowd the poor thing.
Tucker, having been hurt by the blast too, 1 HP right now, does stagger and is confused and dazed, but does feel that warmth and is confused further by it. Given that Ryda's on his back, he doesn't get to immediately look at Ryda, but does see the others rush over and gets a look of alarm in his face.
Mawile follows close on Ralph's heels. She looks horrified. and is currently rummaging through her bag for anything.
Yeah, Ralph will look through his bag too. He'll turn his attention to Brooke. I don't know if it'll help. He's hurt pretty bad, but I do have one reviver seed. And he'll follow up with, what do you think?
As Tucker kind of recovers their stance, he's going to mention, I feel warmth on my back. What's wrong, Ryda?
Just hold still, okay? Don't move, Tucker. As Mawa runs over, she has bandages, all wadded up in a clump.
Tucker nods and just very slowly lays to the ground to give people better access to Ryda.
Once Mywell has them wrapped up, I'm gonna gently pass her the seed where her smaller hands can more easily.
That's fair.
Right.
But let's give Kyrio a second.
Kyrio. Okay, Kyrio spoke up. My bad.
Don't forget to check the text chat for Kyrio.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's been a while since Kyrio has had to type. That's why I'm waiting.
Internally, I'm over here like, oh my god, they care so much.
While we wait for Kyrio, I did notice the recap didn't actually go into detail about how the attack hit Ryda. Should we describe that again?
From what I understand, the attack basically blew up against the Lucario and a shard went shooting towards Ryda.
Like a grenade exploded.
Stabbed him in the chest.
Was it chest? I couldn't remember.
Yes. The orb was overcharged, and Tucker unfortunately felt the recoil. But Will managed to launch it off. It did impact and incapacitate the Lucario Knight, but at cost. Ryda's orb, normally thought indestructible, exploded, and shards of it have scattered everywhere around the arena. One of them, most unfortunately, made its way to Ryda's chest.
It's also worth noting, because I think if I recall, with the Pokerole system, what's the rule about HP drop, about death?
We are not using massive damage rules, so...
Oh, we are. Okay.
That's an entirely different system. The massive damage rules thing, for those who aren't aware, pops up in multiple systems where if you take more than half of your HP at once, you need to make a save or you can potentially just die. From shock, usually. However, as I may have explained last time, You need to reach negative your max HP in order to actually die. And Ryda became very, very, very close to that.
As close as possible, basically.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine some of the responses to when Ryder wakes up and, oh.
Gee. Honestly, Tucker's in pretty bad shape, too. And probably bleeding himself, but he doesn't look to be caring too much about that right now. I mean, this kind of makes sense. If it's like a grenade, then the higher up person gets the worst part of the blast. It kind of makes sense.
They'll be fine. They're only 93.86% dead.
Yes, items-wise, Tubby has a reviver seed. And let's see. I think that's really the most useful thing here.
Mm-hmm. Well, that and, like, bandages.
Yeah.
That's probably also very important.
Yeah, you have to stop the liquid warmth from flowing out of you. Damn YouTube and its damn censorship.
The light. It's dark.
Give me a sec, I need to turn on the light.
Light adjustments.
It's like, oh yeah, it's night.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark in here. When that happened.
The light in this office doesn't turn off properly. You could turn it off, but there's always a little bit of light in the bulb. So I think something's wrong with the circuit a little bit. It's whatever, it's fine, but...
That sounds like the switch is bad.
Maybe. I'm not sure. It seems perfectly stable, it just does that.
Yeah, I have like 30 lights in my room. I have the main light and the fan. I have a desk light and I have LEDs along the roof.
Wow, that's a lot of lights.
Yep, and usually I only ever use one. By the way, Tucker, you should probably choose your color on the table.
Oh, I never did that.
And promote car, just in case.
Okay.
Thank you. Brooke's expression is hard, intense, and twisted. Anger? Guilt? It's hard to say. His fists are clenched, teeth are bared, eyes darting between Ryda and Tucker, visibly shaking. What were you thinking? How did you let this happen? He almost whispers.
Tucker's eyes go a bit wide and shiver. And they respond, "That attack, I just..." Oh.
Oh dear.
Okay, he's still in the call. I'll keep going. "That attack, I didn't know the orb..." He just stammers a bit. He looks guilty. I'll reinvite.
He's booting it back up now.
Oh, did he
Just
miss
got
my
the Steam
line?
notification.
Okay. The VC held for him, I hope.
There he is.
Oh, that's okay. I'll recap. To Brooke saying that, Tucker's eyes went wide and he shivered. And he just stammered about... basically, that attack, I thought the orb would be okay, basically. And just looks very guilty. And I know, Krishna's, I agree, he's having the worst luck lately. Here's a little line, Carter.
Brooke doesn't seem to register what Ralph and Mawile are saying. He's just staring at Tucker and Rida. Mawile is doing her best to stem the flow. There's only so much she can do with that shard still in there.
Tucker tries to get a read on Brooke's expression, but he's just not sure what Brooke is thinking or feeling. He's too tired to connect like that right now. Side thought. I wonder if Brooke's words are more directed at Ryda or Tucker. It's hard to tell.
Perhaps towards himself.
Maybe. Tucker is still kind of unable to see the extent of the damage. It required too much wriggling and shuffling, which is something he doesn't want to do and was told not to do. But it's pretty easy for him to infer that that explosion of that orb has a lot to do with it.
Goodness gracious, how is it that Mala continues to make those things happen so quickly?
Oh, you just noticed the Ryda thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that was there at like the beginning of the session.
Yeah.
I didn't notice. I put it in the game chat, like, oh, hey, look!
Brooke almost doubles over, and gripping his arms hard enough to nearly drop blood. Not again. Damned idiot, Brooke mutters, turning away from the scene, seemingly unable to handle the sight. Ralph, I need you to do something really dangerous.
Ralph nods. At first, he's a little bit shocked and confused at, like, Brooke turning away. Like, then his attention snaps back to, the situation. Right. What do you got?
I'm going to hold Ryda steady. I need you to put the seed in her mouth and pull out the shard.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. My thoughts exactly.
Okay, Ralph. I need you to make a dexterity check.
Alright.
Well,
Alright. 3 dex. Not enough will to boost it.
Ooh, 3 decks.
Actually,
Not your best stat.
I'm not going to make you do dex flat. Do dex contest perform. Dex flat would not work here. This isn't just about dexterity.
Yeah, it's about finesse and whatnot. That was terrible. I know it's the beginning of the session, but I'm gonna have that.
That makes sense.
Do it.
If only you had lucky Chad.
Except the person who can give it is currently dying.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
you
much
fixed-
better.
okay, that's
Arceus.
way better.
I didn't want to die like that.
Alright, Ralph.
Yeah.
You manage to get the reviver seed into Ryda's mouth with a little bit of manipulation. And holding her jaw in one hand, you take the shard in the other.
Mm.
And as you pull back, there's a brief arterial spray. And you tilt her head back. There's a brief golden light. Go ahead and stop the music. Tick, tick, tick. Time slows to a stop. You are unable to move, all of you, but you can see. There is a orderly, metallic tapping. Footsteps that echo from the stairwell. And from its shadow emerges the clockwork butler. Its hands are clasped behind its sleek, slender back. And it turns its head, scarlet cyclopean gaze, regarding all of you for but a brief moment, before it proceeds further into the testing chamber. We really must thank you. We have been waiting for some time for this opening. Tap, tap, tap. Metal footsteps ring along tiles, cracked and broken from the battle. Over to the slumped figure of the Lucario, its cratered torso basically useless. A shame that you have done so much damage. But we expected as much. Time begins to crawl, slow and inexorable. The way it looks at all of you, were it not for the monotone, the emotionlessness of this creature, you could imagine a sneer painted upon its otherwise featureless face. From a compartment, it produces a gleaming gem, or perhaps a seed. From this distance, it's so hard to tell. And in a motion swifter than you can follow, it implants it within this automata you thought you had finished. We are afraid that our numbers require bolstering, but the Master is pleased with your progress. An insan diatala, var an inest Capeshire. It steps back from the Lucario as time struggles to resume, the grinding of gears reaching your ears, as you can feel movement return to your bodies. From the chest of the Lucario bubbles forth a pastel lavender-hued mass, like Icarus clouds. dripping and reforming, taking over places where machinery is gone, forming muscle and tendon with its tendrils, as it begins to jerk and wake anew. If any of you have a reaction, you may begin to react now.
Coming out of slow time. What the fuck did you do?
Is the butler still there?
Mm-hmm. They're standing, hands clasped behind their back again, in an upright posture. They do not regard the rest of you. Instead, they are watching, observing the automata expectantly.
I'm also curious, did they come from the upstairs or the downstairs?
There are no downstairs.
Oh.
There's only upstairs.
Oh,
Yeah,
right, there's
I'm
no
gonna
upstairs.
sprint as quickly as I can to block the door. Because this dude's gonna give answers. That or he's gonna, like, use his powers to just sort of disappear, but...
Oh, but did you finish... you were doing surgery a second ago.
I would say Ralph still has the shard in his hand. But...
Yeah, I pulled the shard out, and I put the mouth in. Mawile has the bandages.
Yeah, Mawile doesn't know what the heck to make of this. She's a little focused on making sure that Ryda is now alive.
Yeah.
Tucker's reaction is... Honestly, Tucker's nearly fainted himself, so all he can do is really just focus warily on the butler and the now changing machine and growl.
Is your team in such bad shape that you need us to do your dirty work? Also, Brooke.
Yes. As soon as he sees it and is able to move, Brooke's eyes lock intensely at the butler. Your fault, Brooke mutters. This is all your fault! Brooke growls and moves to rush.
Should we put on the butler's theme now, or leave it quiet?
Yeah, we can put on the butler's theme. Which one is that again? I think that was a battle one.
Oh, well, you want the battle one? It seems like Brooke wants the battle one.
I couldn't find the theme in the events.
1 second. I can use this. I have the folder list, so I can just search the name of the butler, and I can find the song. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. We have... It's called, okay, it's Thunderclap. Is that... Yeah, that should be submitted. Looks like it's submitted. Clockwork Butler versus Clockwork Butler. That should be in battles under versus something.
Okay. I was right.
Possibly battles 2. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's... I think battles 2 has... I think it got improved twice, so I think there's an improved version in battles 2. Let me see.
It looks like 36 on... 36
yes.
on 1.
Battles to 32.
Sorry, there was 3 versions, so
Oh.
that's the most up-to-date one.
I wanted the original version, but this will do for now.
Oh, it's whatever one you like the most, of course.
Well, I couldn't activate the original version because it was blanked out for the moment. It's fine.
Okay, I had that.
We will use improved 2.
Okay. That's battles 232 then.
Really now, your impatience does not suit you. Brooke manages to get halfway across the floor before it flicks out one arm. Half step. Grind to a halt. And once more, you are slowed, Brooke. Down to nearly a crawl. But only your movement, it seems. Its scarlet eye gleams, the whirring of gears audible and echoing throughout the chamber.
Try and sneak up behind this thing while it's taunting Brooke.
You may go ahead and make me a Dex Survival Stealth check. At this time, Rida may set their HP to 1.
So I'm gonna step a little.
Yo!
Oh, that's good.
That is good. Go ahead and move up to twice your speed, Ralph, on this map.
Alright, where is the guy?
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Let me pick something out.
I'm also doing a thing real fast. There, that should help. Here you go. This is
I'm
a
gonna
quick,
use.
This is a quick thing.
I'm gonna use that icon because I wanna.
But, okay. I made a quick little figurine, by the way.
Oh, you did! How lovely.
Maybe at some point I'll find a 3D model that looks kind of good that we could add to tabletop.
I
Probably
need to
wouldn't be
update
ideal.
their look anyway.
Alright, twice my speed, which is...
Also, I think
so
people
I
may have
6
forgotten
points.
about what they look like, so I figured it'd be good to put on table.
It has been a long time since I've sketched them, but the Clockwork Butler is this slender, almost alien humanoid figure of metal. Your speed,
Awesome.
Ralph, is 3, so you're able
Yeah.
to move 6 spaces currently.
Yeah.
Where's Brooke's speed?
The turret, this is cool, but you could also use this if you want to be red. I'll put that.
Just get there.
And let's see. Right, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about yeah. Yeah, it looks like I can get up right up to where he is because I was kind of sneaky about it at first. So I just sort of you blink and then boom, I'm next to Brooke.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Tucker. Gosh, do I have anything? As Smallwell begins rummaging through their bag again, it appears that she is bandaged up, Rida.
Okay. Tucker's going to ask her. Is it safe to move Rida?
Probably not. I'm gonna try and get her off your back, okay?
Okay.
She begins to slowly move Rida off of Tucker's back. It's careful, gentle. You can feel when that weight is gone.
As soon as it's safe to, Tucker will try to stand and run over as quickly as he can to the rest of the group.
You may move up to your speed.
Let's see, what was that again?
It is equal to your dexterity, which is 4.
Okay. So 4. And diagonal, so let's see. 1.5, 3, and I guess 4. Oh, wait. Was I on a dark tile? I was.
You are on a dark tile.
Okay. I mean, Tucker's really hurt, but he's going to immediately push himself as hard as he can. So, Shadow Sneak. If possible.
Alright. Go ahead and roll. I will put you at a -2 because of your current condition.
That's fair. Dex, Survival, Stealth. Yeah, okay. There.
You make it. Where are you going?
That machine might still have the affinity blocking powers if you get too close. So, Tucker will zero in on this position, I think.
So eager, are you? No matter. All the players are in place. The gears whir at high speed, cranking and clicking as it whirls around as if in waltz. Ratio adjustment. A sound like a tolling bell echoes in the chamber. And once again, the gears of time grind to a halt. And yet, each of you has become mighty in your own right. Though time stalls, you do not. Not entirely. Very good indeed. But it is time that my new compatriot rise again. As if sucking in its first breath, the machine rises. The viscous, vaporous, pink and lavender material exudes from various places, particularly where you wounded this machine's chassis. And it covers half the head, almost as though it would become a helmet or a new set of skin. The eyes now gleam a venomous purple. If you would. The clockwork butler bows, exchanging places at the fore with its compatriot. It extends its arms out, and lights begin to gleam across its surface. Ballad, Enochian nostalgia. An unearthly sound emanates from this new observer. And you are each and all plunged into darkness. Music change, E2, 12.
Also, I just want to point out this comparison I realize based off of your description and the art you did. The butler kind of reminds me of the weird robot things Victor made in Arcane Season 2.
I still need to watch that, but also that's not a bad comparison.
Mm-hmm. I put an image in our chat if you want to see, but yeah. Just wanted to point that out because I thought it was cool.
A quick little question. Which version of the Clockwork Butler song were you wanting to use? I'm just going to read it. I'm going to listen to it back later to get an idea.
The very first one that we used, I believe.
The one before the improved ones? Okay.
Yes, because I believe that one is much less combat energy.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Having the combat energy for this is fine.
It's what Brooke definitely wanted.
I apologize for not giving you what you wanted.
It's okay.
I was kind of, as a player, I was hoping, gosh, I hope this like is one of those fights that like we think we're fighting, but then it's a cutscene into like a puzzle or something. Because I don't think we can win.
The butler's very good at avoiding actually getting into fights with us because he's just too strong. He's too good. He has too many abilities.
They know how to use their abilities well.
Yeah.
And they have had theirs far longer than any of you have lived.
Don't worry, we'll get him eventually.
I believe I recall saying at one point, or having the butler allude to the fact that even Dialga doesn't bother trying to deal with it.
Wow.
Because it can't.
That's a big deal.
Now, for those who may not have picked up on it, this is where our trigger warning comes into play. So, for those of you who are squeamish or who may be sensitive on the topics we discussed earlier, now might be a good time to step away and perform self-care, water, stretch, etc. This is going to be a bit.
Oh no, I completely forgot. I just remembered we were supposed to have a little label at the bottom. Let me add that really fast. There's a text function in XSplit, so what should I write? Karserus.
I gave it to you in Telegram, but the trigger
right.
warning is basically this session contains heavy subjects, including death, alcoholism, graphic violence, and manipulation.
This is where it comes into play, so this is a good time to add it.
Yes.
Okay, hold on a minute. Definitely worth pausing for this. Okay, and then when it's centered, it is centered. Okay, and then it needs to be smaller. That is definitely smaller. Not too much. Okay, there we go. And let's see, that should be fine. Oops. Just a second, I guess you have to hit that button or it goes away. Okay. This is fine. This gives everybody a moment to step away if they need to, while I set this up.
Also, Kyrio, time magic has its flaws. There is no such thing as perfect time magic. And yes, I am fully aware of the nonsense from JoJo.
I'm always a fan of the type of time magic where if you mess with it, it's sort of this, like, destined something's supposed to happen, so reality tries to warp and make it happen in some way.
Okay, I think that looks good. Alright, I've added the trigger warning at the bottom.
Alright then. I believe we will take care of Ralph first.
Alright, let's all get assaulted by our characters' pasts.
Oh, you're not supposed to reveal it before I reveal it, even though it's only like 2 seconds early. Ralph Wilson. It's hard for you to tell, but you probably reek of booze right now. It's hard for you to stay awake. Your eyes are heavy. Your entire body aches. There's such a crushing isolation in this place. Next to a sea that you can barely hear the waves of, you sit in the sand. There's a few bottles dug in by you, but they're empty. Staring out at the surf. Someone you know comes by, but you can barely notice them. It's hard to turn your head. Everything has become so difficult, so tiring. You need to take better care of yourself, Rob. You recognize the voice. You remember darker skin, like bronze sand. Their arm comes into view, confirming your theory, and a white lab coat. It's followed by a blanket, gently draped over your shoulders. Don't stay out all night, alright? I'm going to check on you in the morning. You can vaguely hear them walk away. But they aren't going to find you in the morning. You're pulled away from your body. A dark vignetting around your vision, static, creeping at its edges. Things slowly begin to turn gray as you watch yourself slump over on the sands as the moon rises. You feel it again. A slowing of the heartbeat. A painful ache ebbing away. And just as the scene before your eyes begins to grow almost too distant to see, too dark for anything, there they are. The butler. They stand before your body as though it had always been there. And then you are left in blackness. Next is Tucker. Poor little Tucker. You've been sick in bed for so long. Well, the adults have been telling you that you'll get to play outside again soon. But it's hard to be patient. You want to go out. And there, in the window, is someone familiar. You don't know how they opened it, but the moonlight paints a familiar silhouette. They've been to your ranch before many times. always so friendly, so willing to help. They extend a hand. Come on now. Let's get you some fresh air. They're a friend. Why wouldn't you trust them? And so you take their hand, and they bring you outside. Somehow, even with your blanket trailing behind you, clutched in your little hands, you're cold. They lead you along, out far, far into the middle of your ranch's field. A clear night sky, but for one cloud that passes over the moon for a moment. And in that shadowed time, your friend is gone. Your head is fuzzy, dazed with fever. Eventually, as you try to find your way back, you stumble and fall beneath the tall grass. Like Ralph, you are ripped away from your own body. Dark vignetting and static creeping about your vision aggressively. You can hear distant, panicked calls of your parents. And just as things are about to become too dark, too distant, they are there. The strange, liquid figure of the Mercury Observer and the Clockwork Butler, as if they had always been. And now, it's Brooke's turn. You lie in wait in the bushes with scales. This is a chance at redemption. This is a chance to do something right. You weren't sure why they came to you, but they did. And now, standing out in that forest clearing, is someone who wanted to give you another chance. So many missing, so many kidnappings, so many apparent deaths. And now, you had a chance to make it right, hopefully. There's a flash of movement. Something faster than any Pokemon you've ever seen. The only reason you're able to turn your eyes upon it is because that poor researcher has been stabbed through their chest by one nice skeletal alien limb. It looks sickeningly human. And the way the moonlight gleams off its metal surface, it sees you. Your breathing reaches a fever pitch. You shout for Scales to run. And as you try to rise and do the same, it's gone. And back. And it hurts. Your eyes are wide, and you are forced to stare into that single eye. And it watches you, and regards you, cold and calculating. You can hear scales crying out. They can't be here. They can't be here. They have to run. You are torn from their body. And you get to bear witness as it extracts its limb from you, gleaming in metallic scarlet, as it turns towards the one constant friend you have had in your life, and all goes black. Ryder, you finally awaken from the whispers of death's embrace. You have been returned. But you have returned to find everyone else unconscious, scattered across the training chamber. Neither of the Watchers are there.
Well, seeing everyone sort of just unconscious, Ryder clenches at their chest, feeling this sharp pain, but moving through it to basically run, though stumbling and tripping and getting to a crawl at one point, just to get over to the party and see if they're alive, if they're breathing.
I assume you would check Brooke first.
Yep.
How are you checking to see if they're breathing?
Ryder just sort of gets down, placing like a hand to feel their pulse if they feel anything, listen close towards their muzzle to hear just any sort of noise coming from them.
It's faint, so shallow it might as well be death, but they breathe. And though slow, their hearts beat.
Then they rush over to do the same for Ralph, who's next to Brooke.
It's the same. Luckily for Ralph, it's not so hard to tell.
Then they run once more towards Tucker just to be sure.
Even Tucker is caught in this death-like sleep. But they are alive.
Noting that they are alive, Ryda just sort of falls to their knees, just trying to settle their nerves, their hands shaking. They're breathing rapidly. They seem to sit there for a good while, trying to contemplate on what to do next, before deciding to make their way back over to Brooke. And then, of course, as Ryda be Ryda, is going to try and heal pulse on them.
Very well. Go ahead and roll. Alright, go ahead and spin the wheel.
It's half their max HP. Is it rounded up or down?
Round it up.
Sorry. Alright. So, 5.
Rook, you will restore 5 HP.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did we have to roll it?
I mean, yeah, that's how it works.
Oh, well, I'm dumb. I keep forgetting because we don't do that as often.
Mm-hmm.
You still restore 5 HP. Don't worry about it. I already said
right,
so.
very determined. But does that seem to affect Brooke in any manner?
Outside of closing wounds and healing patches here and there, not really. While slowly picks herself up from the corner you ended up leaving her in. It's fine, she has a second big mouth. It's easy to tell that she's breathing.
Ryder was laser focused on a few other people, let's just say, and didn't give two thoughts about them all while.
Calm.
Sorry, Ralph.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had to follow my leader. Especially if my leader attacks him by himself, he might get hurt. I better help him.
Ralph? Rhett? And she turns around, seeing you there with the others. Her eyes widen in fear. She runs over and checks everyone much as you did, before finally heaving a sigh of relief. I'm glad they're okay. I'm glad you're okay.
What happened?
I don't know. I was treating you mostly. You had... It doesn't matter right now. Just something came in, and it did something to that Lucario machine. It got strange, and then there was this sound, And I can't remember what happened next. I just remember having this horrible nightmare. All jumbled up. What about you?
I do not matter in this circumstance.
Oh, Arceus, how long have we been out? If it's been days, we could be stuck here. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. All while begins to hold her head as she panics. And at this time, each of the rest of you will begin to open your eyes.
Ralph wakes up and looks down at himself, he looks down and examines and he's checking for something and shakes his head. No. What? Piecing together. Okay.
Sorry to laugh, but your chair creaked just as I brought the Snorlax up.
That's just his joints
I
aching.
thought that too.
That's just his joints going. Welcome back to the world of the living.
What happened while I was unconscious?
Well, that weird butler guy came in, put a seed or something in the busted up Lucario, and it grew into a cyborg creature. Brooke and I went to fight it, Tucker too, and then he beat us over the head with our past.
Around this moment, Tucker jolts awake, actually. Immediately getting to his feet as quickly as he can, before immediately collapsing back down onto the ground, because he is still very injured. Ryda? He seems confused, looking at Ryda standing.
They turn to face you. I'm sorry, Tucker. I could not protect you. Any of you.
It's okay. Are you okay?
I will take this time to note that Ryda's entire chest has been bandaged very thoroughly, and there is a big red spot in the center.
Is it still growing?
No.
Okay.
Luckily not.
Indeed.
As Brooke comes to, he opens his eyes, but he doesn't move. He just stares at the floor beneath him.
Ralph will kind of echo Tucker's question. Yeah, how you feeling, Ryda?
My body is in pain. I do not recall what happened, other than I tried to protect Tucker from our attack.
I messed up. That was a dumb decision. That attack was my idea. He shakes his head and just looks away.
Yeah. Ralph will reach into his bag and pull out the shard that he pulled out of her. Yeah, this was wedged in you pretty good. And I guess you could say I got you a souvenir. And I'll hand Ryda the shard that used to be part of her orb.
Ryda tilts their head, looking confused, not understanding what exactly that is. Only for them to recognize the material and their eyes go wide. And you see them immediately start to look around the room, noticing the shards of their orb.
A few might still be embedded in Tucker's skin.
Luckily, none so large as to threaten your life.
You see them stagger and just freeze there in place. Their body trembling, just staring down at this shard. Their expression is one of shock. It doesn't seem to change, and yet you watch as tears well up in their eyes and they start to cry. Just this unexpressive, silent cry.
Oh, should I remove the message? Or
Warning technically no longer in effect.
I guess I'll leave it up, though, just to be safe, but...
Yeah, you can leave that up, but technically the warning is no longer in effect.
Okay. Well, this... Oh, Brooke, were you doing that roll? Or can I do a thing? Oh no! Tucker will turn his head towards Ralph, and just bluntly say, I died. I think I died. Did you die?
I'll look thoughtful. I might have, considering last I saw, I was passed out next to the beach. And on a full moon, no less, so... You know.
Tucker just sort of nods. By the context of the way Ralph described that, he can tell that, well, it was in the past, much like with him. For me, it was, I had a fever. I wasn't well. Oh, wait, actually, didn't Tucker already tell Ralph about this dream, the dream before?
Similar, like, he told, I think Tucker mentioned that, like, memories came back and he remembered that he was very sick.
Yeah. So, Tucker acknowledges that because he did talk to Ralph about that, and goes on to say, and while I was sick, somebody, I thought they were a friend, but I don't remember. But they made me go outside, and I don't think I could handle that, and I fell. That's what I remember now.
And Ralph will suddenly, like, do like an "oh shit, I left the oven on" face, and go, "We have to figure out what time it is."
Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna run and see if the doors are still open. Make sure you're all okay. Hopefully there aren't any more security measures active.
Not by yourself, you're not. And I'm gonna escort Mawile back to the top.
Please be careful. Oh, Tucker struggles to stand again, and this time does manage it. We'll come along when we can. And he just looks at Ryda and Brooke, realizing Brooke is awake now too.
While Kyrio's typing, I'm gonna quickly use the bathroom.
Okay.
Mhm. I suppose it would also be important to mention that the typical static you hear from Ryda's horn is present, though this time a lot louder than it normally is.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost imagine static literally sparking off of it. I'd also say as they stand there motionless and tears falling from their face, Ralph, you feel the shard gently tugged from your hand via psychic hovering in front of them.
Yeah, he'll let you have it.
Also, I think it's funny. I was going to check Ralph's house, but look at exactly where Car left their cursor. It's kind of funny. Thanks for the side hut. Thanks for the side hut, Beers, because I let me check. Yeah, Ralph's in good enough condition to run up with Mobile. But yeah. We'll let Car read that when he's back.
I return.
Welcome back.
Alright, and we have a Brookline.
Mm-hmm.
It's not real, Brooke whispers after a long silence, speaking as if he can't quite understand what he saw. Whatever they wanted us to see, whereas we remembered just now, it didn't happen. It can't have.
I'd say at this point, Rida would have, or rather, you guys would have noticed that some of the fragments of shards around the place have started to almost roll or tumble, being pulled towards Rida, and starting to like coalesce in this almost aura in front of their hands.
Does that affect the pieces in Tucker?
They're definitely being tugged on. Not violently. If anything, it almost feels like they're slightly being nudged, all being pulled like a magnet towards this mass in front of them.
Tucker probably notices a little discomfort from that, but he probably takes a second to brush them out of his skin. They're in smaller pieces and nothing too major. If anything, the tugging lets him figure out where to brush.
And as the pieces sort of coalesce in front of them, you watch as they begin to turn and try and press against each other. Almost like watching a puzzle being built in front of you in the air. Very delicately, not using a lot of force, pieces slightly rubbing and pressing. If they don't match, it sort of hovers away just to go and try and connect with another piece. Over and over.
Have Ralph and Mywell left at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move them a little bit.
Rida, would you mind giving me an insight logic check?
Okay.
And okay, let's see. Kyro's typing. Tucker will, after brushing the shrapnel out of his skin, will move over towards Brooke. I'll just say that for now. Tucker's ears perked, and he did catch those mutterings that Brooke made.
Brooke sits up, and for the first time since the explosion, seems to take in his surroundings. Tucker? He looks around and sees Rida and seems to sigh in relief, but catches himself from saying anything as he watches the orb attempt to reassemble. Rida, try as you might, some pieces just aren't fitting. Somehow warped, broken. There are pieces missing, likely obliterated in the blast. Possibly still embedded in the creature that the automata became.
Tucker seems to want to say something to Brooke, and is observing the aura, but is a little more focused on Brooke. But Tucker ultimately doesn't say anything, and just nudges against Brooke. Just supporting, and just giving a nuzzle.
Ralph, you and Mawile rush your way up the levels of the facility. Nothing looks damaged beyond what you know you and Team Cheer have done. It's almost like the observers simply came and went without a trace. Nothing has been destroyed or removed. But there's something even stranger still. When you reach the observatory level, the only one there is an unconscious liar. There is no Oranguru, and there are no Pessimians. Brooke flinches slightly at the sudden touch of Tucker, then wraps an arm around him. Sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
Yeah, we're just gonna. We'll have the scene change. I just run up in view of Flyer, observe the empty room, and go, damn. And switch.
I think we can continue with you for a bit. While checks on Lyre. Same as the rest of you. So whatever happened to you all happened to them too.
As far as I know, they're not like us. And I'll run over to check the door.
The door still opens. Or rather, it is still open. And when you check the sky, you notice something strange. It's dusk. There is no moon hanging in this sky. Not yet.
I think we broke it. Or the butler broke it or something.
Ralph?
Run back over to Mawile. Yeah?
Where are the Pessimians? Where's the Oranguru? They said that they would stay here.
I don't know. Maybe given odors clues to determine how long ago they left?
Go for it.
Inside survival alert.
I thought that was weird because weren't the monkeys were all with Lyre, right? So if Lyre's unconscious, they probably would have done something about that. If they were there.
4.
As far as you can tell, Ralph, they haven't been here for hours, at least. Go ahead and give me an insight survival alert.
Alright. Yeah, first I'll let her know. It smells like they haven't been here for at least a few hours. Let's see here, and as I think... And such battle alert.
There are no signs of a struggle here.
Yeah, I'll look around, and it doesn't look like they were forced out.
Ralph, you don't think they let that monster in, do you?
I'll like caress my arms. I don't think anyone needs to let it do anything. I think it can pretty well do whatever it wants.
But what it was saying, it was almost like it needed somebody else to open things up. Where'd you even get the key to this place?
I don't recall. It gave me the key, didn't it?
Mercury gave you the key.
Oh.
Yep, in the Drizzle Woods.
Was that the only time that we've seen Mercury? Or that you've seen Mercury?
You guys have encountered Mercury multiple times. As a small refresher for everybody, Mercury is the one that gave Lizard the seed that gave them their aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Mercury is also the one that has appeared ambiguously multiple times. But they also took the shape of Articuno. And you fought them.
Oh,
once.
right.
Oh man, and I had...
What was your goal with our Articuno framing or copying? I forgot. Did we ever figure out their goal with that?
I don't think you ever did.
I did have one of the coolest Rule of Cool moments, though, when I, jumped into the canyon and rode the Articuno back up. God, that would have been a moment where it plays the...
The one that caused the volcano to freeze. That did seem to be what was going on, yeah.
Ah, yes, because it would have made it erupt.
But yes, I will relay this to Mawile as I plant my face in my hand. God, such an idiot. It was his boss, the other one. He has a partner.
Another one?
Say again?
Another one?
Yeah. Him and this goopy-looking metallic fellow are in cahoots with each other. I think they're servants of the Dead Star. And I think they want us to be. But I feel like we're resisting more than they thought.
That is correct, Kyrio.
Yes.
Yeah, the butler took the flower from it.
Mm-hmm. So, there must have been something. Some reason why they couldn't just use that key themselves. Maybe because that The Lucario machine. Maybe because it was still active.
Well, it does bode well for us. If they were afraid of the machine, and we beat the machine, then that must mean we're stronger than them, right?
Maybe. I mean, if you could find a way to deal with whatever it was doing. There's too much we don't know. She sighs. She has a liar's head in her lap and is gently petting over it. I have a bad feeling, Ralph. I have a really, really bad feeling. Now we can swap over to the others.
Ending back to Rida, as you mentioned before, of pieces not fitting or being present, despite knowing that fact, they keep trying anyway. Their hands shaking more and their crying only intensifying, despite their expressions still blank and unchanging. It's clear they're desperate, but they refuse to stop.
Tucker looks between the two and realizes that they're both really hurting. Both broke down, Rida. Well, Tucker may be fairly damaged himself physically and is feeling the mental trauma too of their sort of shared experiences. He realizes that he probably needs to step in. Don't worry, Kyrio, I'm not going to interrupt what you're doing. Tucker will do a thing, but only after Kyrio does a thing.
Brooke just watches. His hands tremble as they clench and unclench. Tension in his jaw as he attempts to force himself to do or say anything. But nothing comes.
Tucker takes a deep breath and finally, properly steadies himself on his feet. I know we're all hurting, but we have to get upstairs. The door might be closed or it might not be. Right now, let's focus on moving and getting out of here. Can you guys come with me?
Kingredhydra does not respond. They don't even seem to acknowledge anything outside of their orb, or what remains.
Brooke doesn't seem to hear you, Tucker.
Tucker considers the situation and the lack of responsiveness from both of them. Admittedly, he feels kind of rattled to see Brooke especially like this, but he takes another deep breath. All right. I have to connect with you guys. He starts with Brooke. And we'll use sympathy.
All right.
Any penalties, or am I good?
You are good at the moment.
Tucker's already in contact with Brooke, so it's not too hard, not too long, before he wheels into how Brooke feels. The twisted emotions that are probably there, he connects with it.
I'm still in. Okay, yeah, I'm still in the call.
Yeah, we're just waiting. Kyrio probably has something to say in response to what I'm doing in game, so just waiting.
I'll be right back while typing this going up.
Also, while Kyrio works on the response, I want to say to the audience, I hope you're all doing okay, and I know this is very heavy, so I just hope you're all doing good.
And I return. Tucker, you can immediately feel the weight of guilt and sorrow flooding you as he watches Rida futilely try to reconstruct their orb, but also a tinge of nostalgia, familiarity, as if he's seen or felt what Rida is going through. But beneath that is an overwhelming storm whirling somewhere deep, tangled and unknowable.
In truth, Tucker feels a number of those emotions himself. There's a guilt over what happened to Rida, and a sorrow over realizing that he died, which is something that Brooke probably can feel with that connection, as it goes both ways. But Tucker isn't the weak little puppy anymore. He's still growing, and he's still going through a lot, but there's a warmth still, and he pushes that onto Brooke. That whatever happens, however they feel right now, however they feel later, they need to move forward. Even if it hurts. And right now, Tucker exerts the feeling to Brooke that right now, they just need to focus on stepping forward, up the steps, through the halls, out of this place. One thing at a time, one step at a time.
Brooke looks down at Tucker with a bit of a start, lets out a shaky breath, as if he's been holding it in for a while. Emotionally, something seems to shroud what you were feeling before, consuming those other emotions, pushing them down into the maelstrom below. You see him give a small grin, pats Tucker's head. It'll be okay, Tuck.
Tucker looks back, and there's a tear in his eyes as he says, I think so. Let's move forward.
Rook moves towards Rida, and then just wraps his arms around them.
As Rook holds on to Rida, he can clearly feel their trembling and shaky breath. They seem not to react to his presence much, but you can tell that there's definitely a change as Rook holds on. Whether it's more trembling or less is hard to tell, but the reaction is muted.
Tucker looks at the orb in front of Rida. Is Rida basically just pressing the shards together, holding them together with psychic abilities for the moment?
In a sense, it's them trying to reconstruct it. You can see they've tried their best to put it back in its original shape. And when the pieces don't match, you can see it constantly shifting as they press into each other gently before sliding away and trying elsewhere.
Does it look? Is it still all in shards? Is it still all in shards? Like if they let go, would it just land in a pile of shards? Like
yes, it would.
Okay. All right. Tucker would. Oh, there's a. Go ahead.
Oh, I know what Kyrio is asking for.
So if Rida attempts to roll the repair orb again, I will trade. Okay.
So, this is not for repair. Rida, can you give me an insight, channel, and will roll, please?
Current or max will?
Current.
Okay.
Okay. Proceed as you were.
Alright. Well, what Tucker was going to do was, get his bag and basically unaffix it from his, shoulder, and using his teeth, he'll put the bag in front below the orb, basically to catch it, its pieces. And then, once more trying vocally, will express to Rida, let go. We'll collect what we can. We'll worry about the rest later.
You see as Rida's eyes dart between Brooke's interruption in the bag, and the pieces of the orb seem to almost part around any sort of physical trying to move them. Still desperately trying. Though you can see that their desperation is waning.
Please
They're
give me the roll
tired
again.
and exhausted.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Please give me the roll again at a -4. you are not able to keep up the energy necessary to maintain holding those shards, let alone moving them, keeping them together. It suddenly breaks in spite of every strain and effort, and they fall. In the otherwise silent chamber, it's an almost beautiful sound, like a clattering of glass.
And Tucker catches it in the bag. Carefully.
Rida falls to their knees and reaches out to the bag as they try and take it and clutch it against their chest.
Tucker has an apologetic look in his face, doing a small shake of his head as he pulls it away and puts it back on his shoulder. But as soon as he's done with that, he gives Rida a big, kind of feral forepaw hug and uses sympathy again. Oh, I'll allow let's see what Kyrio says first.
Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Kyrio, if you were going to respond to what Rida is doing rather than what I just said, that's fine too. Generally, I never want to overwrite what Kyrio's taken up for Brooke to do, because Brooke is still leader, so. Tucker and Game will defer, generally. Oh, and while there's typing, I will note that Beerus pointed out saying in response to me mentioning what I said about ads, and that's true. You can always access the VOD if you click, as you're watching the video, if you click the avatar of Charm, that'll show you the video list, I think, and then you can go to VODs. You could watch the VOD even before it ends. So you could always, like, even as the stream is going, you can access the VOD, and if you missed a little bit, you can go back and see that. So, it's very easy.
Brooke just whispers as he continues to hug Rida. I know it's hard when your heart breaks. It never goes back together correctly. I know the fractures hurt so much. They won't ever stop. one day it will hurt less.
Tucker will still do what was said earlier, but before the sympathy is used, if Ryder wants to do anything else, first, just go ahead.
I'd say at that remark, you can see Ryda's lips do the faintest movement as they can't manage to vocalize the words, but you're familiar with the lip movements of the word mistress leaving their mouth. And that's all.
All right.
Ralph.
Alright.
How long are you and Mawile going to stay up top?
I think probably just long enough to suss out what happened, have their conversation. You know, Ralph a little bit kicking himself that he essentially played right into the fricker's hands. And yeah, and he'll probably, yeah. Yeah, I guess we should get back to the others.
Would you mind helping carry Lyre? At least until they wake up?
Yeah, no problem. We can't leave him up here by himself, and yeah, I'll scoop him up on my shoulders.
Ralph now looks like he hunted a deer.
Yeah.
Just to add a bit of levity towards the end here. Alright. Which means Ralph and Mawile will be relatively close by when what happens next happens next.
Alright. Sympathy again. Any penalties?
I'm not going to penalize you this time.
Okay. The reason I keep asking is because I'm at 1 HP in a dream. I am not doing well.
I know you are. I know you are.
Okay. Let's see. Working a lot off of inner strength right now.
Okay.
And Tucker and Brooke both are just hugging Ryda now as Tucker opens a connection. And similarly to with Brooke, Ryda can feel Tucker's guilt towards the situation that hurt Ryda. Maybe Ryda's not focused on their injury too much, but they can feel how Tucker is and feels responsible for that move. But beyond the guilt is warmth and strength and pain from Tucker, but a pain with a purpose. Tucker does want to move forward, and it's hard and it hurts, and he doesn't know where they're going or what will happen, but right now they need to focus on getting out of here, and one step at a time, here in the now. And of course, I'm sure Tucker feels a lot too from Ryda.
So, unfortunately for Brooke, they are not connected to all this. Tucker has the strength for one connection right now. So when they turn away from Brooke, they're giving everything to Ryda.
would now be an apt time for the thing.
I believe it would. Is there any music that you want for this?
If you don't know what you want, you can describe what you want, and I could probably pick something.
Let me think. The vibe, it's somber, it's tragic, it's depressing, it's unfortunate circumstance that leaves you feeling, oh no.
So very similar to what we've got going.
Yeah.
But probably a change of pace all the same. Something new. Let's see. Events is definitely where it should be.
Of course there's a thing, guys. Do you not know me?
Car, since it'd be whiplashy if I just click songs, could you try 40 Pensive and see if that works? I'll try to remember which ones might match that.
Unfortunately, pensive is not the right mood.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna try Events 2. Or Events 3, sorry. Okay. Well, I mean, Rita's theme is in Events 3. But I don't know if that works or not. I can't remember what that sounds like.
Unfortunately not.
Alright, back to Events 1. That's where, I think a lot of the sad music was in Events 1, so. Let's see. 40? 42, 43.
Time for me to take over storytelling for a little bit. This will be fun.
If none of those work, I have one more suggestion.
What's the other one?
29.
Ooh. Another idea could be Rita's theme.
We did look at Ryda's theme. Unfortunately, it gets lighter.
Fair.
The start is fine. It's later, it becomes lighter.
Fair.
I think 23 also is another suggestion.
Yeah, let's do 23.
Okay.
So Events 123?
Yep.
You've used it before, but that's fine.
We haven't used it in a good while, though.
Yeah. Also, it's pretty PMD prediction that the sad songs do have a few repeats, except for very special ones. Yes, this one works.
Shall I hand the floor to you, Hydra?
I thank you for such. I will try my best.
You'll do fine. One step at a time.
Indeed. So, to set the scene a bit, Tucker, as you try and reach out with your sympathy, unlike with Brooke, where it felt like this streamlined connection from one to another, you run into this almost static barrier that fights against you. In this back and forth battle between your positive emotion and outlook against whatever this erratic force is trying to keep you out. And eventually, you're able to push through with this resounding boom or echo of your motivational message behind you. And as your vision clears in this moment, you find yourself somewhere else. It feels like you're floating in water. A heavy pressure on your chest. Around you, you see glimmers of light and an endless sea expanding before you in void. Those glimmers, as you look closer, seem to be shards of glass, playing glimpses of things Ryda has experienced with the party. It's clear that these shards are sharp and emanating some sort of psychic static. Getting too close or moving too fast might result in you cutting or hurting yourself. From below, you see this ripple through the water, making the glass shards twinkle. And down below, at the bottom of this oceanic floor, is a figure thrashing and bound in some sort of psychic chains. It's constantly morphing and shifting. It's hard to see from where you are what exactly this figure is. But you can tell that whatever it is the source of what's going on.
Tucker knows
Tucker deal with this?
Tucker realizes the sharpness of those shards, but realizes that moving slowly is the way to go. It's not unlike those old briar patches of blackberries that he used to go through as a human. Picking blackberries was always a sharp task, but if you move slow, you could always do it safely. Tucker contemplates this. The figure deep under this ocean, if the word could describe it. He takes a deep breath, and he dives towards them.
Tucker, you gently swim your way through this field of glass and water. Despite the heavy pressure on your chest, you can still breathe, and you pass by glimmers and shards, displaying some scenes you may recognize of the tower, of the plains, of fights that you shared together, simple moments, until you get close enough to see this figure. What you see is Ryda bound in chains to this sea floor, covering their chests, their arms, their legs, keeping them down, as their head is face downwards, tilted, keeping them from even looking up. But what really catches your eyes is, as the chains thrash around, you see other visages of Ryda desperately trying to escape this bound vessel. And they have expressions you have yet to see of Ryda. Anger, sadness, joy, all desperately clinging and reaching, clawing out of this husk, desperately trying to escape. All restricted by these psychic chains.
Tucker opens his mouth. In this landscape, this mindscape, knowing that his words can get across regardless of the sea, he says, I don't really know who you are. Not completely. But I know that you want to be you. I don't know if I can help. But I see that you need help. And Tucker will place his forepaws on those chains, unsure if he can simply break them by force, and all these sharp shards around him, making him think that that wouldn't work anyways and would just be destructive. So instead, he just expresses his warmth, touching the chains.
Upon hearing your words and your presence made known, the figure jolts its head up to look at you with blank, void eyes. You watch as the chains tighten, causing the thrashing and the clawing of the other riders to retract, almost like an alarm being set off. Now, without any movement aside from this one husk, it stares directly into your eyes. You do not belong here. Leave now.
Maybe I don't. But neither do you. Not like this.
You watch as one of their fingers twitch, and you hear the sound of hissing from behind you. And then a sharp pain on your cheek as a glass shard shoots past, grazing your face. The water around you starts to darken with red as the cut starts to bleed into the water around you. The chained entity simply expresses once more, "Go away, or I will make you."
Tucker twitches to this injury. Not sure precisely how he's injured. He feels it though. But he grips the chains tighter, not turning his head towards the attack. And he just pulls his warmth into his paws, into those chains, to make them, if he can, stop what they're doing.
As you focus on putting these positive affirmations and your own feelings into these chains, you watch as they vibrate, almost like they're being disassembled on a molecular level. And you see from where that chain was binding Rida, a hand tries to reach out for you before being pulled back. And the visage shouting back, "My chain shall not be undone. I mustn't allow it." Their deadpan demeanor continues despite their efforts being more sporadic and uncoordinated. You see as more glass shards start heading your direction. They don't seem very anticipated on where they will land.
Please give me a dex fight evade, Tucker.
Okay.
I love storytelling.
Agreed.
Ooh. All right. I'm gonna just have them roll.
Okay.
Insight channel.
I'm not upset. I actually think that's an accurate roll.
What do you think? Insight channel what?
Oh, for this. Oh,
Yes.
This would be insight channel logic, methinks.
Okay.
That makes sense. The logic added in is very poignant.
Okay. So, you don't really get a chance to react as fast as you would want, as these 4 shards come zooming towards you. And you manage to dodge 1, but the other 3 whiz directly into your side and your back. and you feel this sharp pain, but it's not a physical pain you'd expect. It's this emotional rupture in your own being, this overwhelming sadness, this anguish that fills you with dread, fighting against your own motivation in this place, trying to corrupt your mind into joining in this overwhelming urge of negativity.
In truth, Tucker is focused. He didn't really dodge that well because he wasn't trying to. He has one single focus, though it does falter as those shards cut into him. But not completely. He continues to grip those chains. And even though there's bits of negativity mixing in with that warmth now, he still expresses that warmth into this being, into these chains. I don't know you, and this hurts, he says. This all hurts, but this hurts you too. I don't know what most of this is, but I know it's wrong.
You know nothing about my sorrow. And once more they send a flurry of shards towards you. And this time even more sporadic, sending more. Though you can tell they're getting desperate at this point. Half of them don't even seem like they're even aiming towards you, or they will hit you.
It would be a lie to say that Tucker wasn't desperate himself in some ways, but the difference is that he knows there's better to this, for you, for them. There's some desperation in trying to help you, but he's resolute that you need it.
Would you roll to dodge for me once more?
Sure. What was the roll again? And do I take a penalty?
Your roll is Dex Fight Evasion. Would they take a penalty?
I'd say they take a bonus because of how terrible they're doing right now. And also, now that Tucker, you know what to expect.
That's true.
Give yourself a +2.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they are getting a penalty.
Oh.
Alright.
Goodness
That's-
gracious.
I'm not sure Lucky Chat applies here.
Lucky Chant would have been over by now.
Yeah.
So, Tucker, as you try desperately to clench onto this chain and narrowly wiggle your body out of reach from the shards that head towards you, you see as two just barely whiz past your fur, and it manages to ruffle them in the floating water, but not manage to hit you. This flurry around you seems to stab into the ground all around, one after another, in this barrage of frenzied. And then you see as one directly shoots into this figure, knocking them off kilter. And for a moment they stagger, and you see that from where they had been hit and the chain had been temporarily moved, you watch as you see a desperate rider reaching out for you, trying to grab hold.
Seeing that the only shard that landed its mark wasn't on him, seeing that outstretched reach. Tucker no longer just holds the chains, but curls over Rida, shielding them in case more shards hit them, and giving them as much of a hold as they can have, both to reach out to them, to reach out to Tucker, as well as vice versa. Expressing his warmth as much as he can, even mixed in with pain, both your own and his own, that he feels mingled inside himself now. It's a confusing mess for him, but he knows this isn't right, and that grounds him. He's still resolute.
Would you give me a cool contest will for me?
Mm. I assume current will.
Yes.
There.
Okay. So, as you take hold of this vessel of Rida, desperately trying to imbue them with this message of hope, you see that their chains loosen, their body unable to fully restrain themselves any further, and that desperately reaching Rida manages to take hold of part of you, using you as leverage, and with the brief respite you gave, took advantage to escape, crawling out from this visage that shrieks in pain as the Rida escapes. This echoing boom of noise sends a shockwave rippling through the water, causing both you and the Rida that escaped to stagger back. You watch as the glass shards glimmer and echo throughout the water, being pushed further away, only to be then dragged back in this whirlpool of spinning water and glass. Luckily, it doesn't seem to hit you or this Rida now on the ground, but this vortex spins and twirls, culminating into this almost glass egg with the shards pointing outwards in a spiky manner, until the spinning stops and this new structure solidifies, this hardened shell around this visage, now determined to keep you out. But as it's focused on defending itself, the scene around you shifts. The skies seem to go from this empty void to a dark storm cloud, and rain trickles down. This almost weightless feeling in water now turns to normal air and solid ground. You find yourself in what looks to be in an arena courtyard. It's a rather somber day. The sky covered in dark gray clouds that echo with thunder that doesn't land. Rain pouring down, wetting the sand below your paws. And on the ground before you, you see the Rida that escaped. You see them desperately clenching onto the ground, shaking. And they cry. A genuine, sad cry. I am sorry. I was not strong enough. I was not smart enough. I was not fast enough. I could not protect you. I failed you.
Tucker walks over and draws them into a large hug.
Feel as they hug back, crying into your shoulder, your fur dampening from their tears. As they simply mutter repeatedly, "I'm sorry. I failed you."
Tucker repeats something he said before. One step at a time. One step at a time.
You feel as they take comfort in your words. Though they still cry and sniffle, it lessens. Though the gray clouds remain, the rain stops. And Rita simply sits there, holding on to you close. Thank you, Tucker.
You're worth it, he says, resolutely.
You watch as this pink psychic glow emanates from their cracked horn, and it begins to solidify, returning to what you would expect a normal horn to look like. Then the pink glow gets brighter and brighter, enveloping the area around you, till it's all white. Your eyes take a moment to readjust, but once they do, when you see the light of the world again, you're back in front of Brooke, and you can see that Rita is now hugging you, just as they once did.
And Tucker hugs them back, shaking from the weight of everything, but still resolute.
And you can hear them mutter once more. Thank you, Tucker. I am not sure what you did, but I feel, for the first time in a long while, I feel.
Tucker just holds you tightly. In truth, he doesn't fully know what happened, but feeling is important, and he is happy to hear this. He only did what was right to do.
It is at this point I shall let Kyrio commentate and Karserus return to being storyteller. Whew.
Excellent job. The pushing back of all the glass crystals before the whirlpool part immediately made me visualize that, and it looked really cool.
Thank you. I was trying my best not to choke up at the end. And, I was struggling to do the Rida voice a bit, but it's fine.
It's okay. You did great. I hope I did good.
Oh, yeah. You did great.
This was a situation that Tucker couldn't understand. He's still young. But he could understand what was important. Amongst all that tangle, he could see past the tangle. And that is what he worked with.
But yeah, so from Brooke's perspective, Tucker was sort of just eyes closed with Rida for a minute. And then at one point, Rida just hugs Tucker, and Tucker hugs back.
Tucker probably jolted when the shards hit him, too. That Brooke probably saw that, too. Just to share a little bit more, so Brooke maybe has a bit more of a physical perspective of what was mentally happening.
You couldn't hear it, of course, but I was giving y'all the soft clap because that was amazingly done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you tell I'm a storyteller? But yeah, I've prepped this for a while now.
And I completely winged it. It's kind of interesting how that worked, despite it being such a different thing that we each did.
Mhm. Yeah, so the original plan was for this to take place when Tucker tried to fix Ryda.
In town.
I see. The thing that would have happened back after the missions.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little sooner than originally intended.
Drama
That's
kind of
not-
I'm
pushed
not
up a little
complaining.
faster than... Yeah.
It also had a slightly different ending, but we don't need to talk about that. That's a... They did it.
When Ryda seems responsive, Brooke unwraps himself from them, sighs in relief. He smiles a bit, but then looks at the spot where the Lucario robot was for a moment. Let's go. I don't think we should have come here.
Very
Sorry. Mawile is standing at the bottom of the stairs with Ruff and Lyre. An expression of overwhelming guilt.
Tucker nods to Brooke's words and acknowledges the other group coming back in. Slowly breaking from the hug that he's doing with Ryda. Enio has entered full flippant sarcasm mode to avoid feels.
I've noticed.
Mm-hmm. Did it affect you that much?
Glad to bring you sadness.
Sorry, buddy, I got the aspect of connection out of game too. I can tell this stuff. Oh, sleepy. That sleepy flippancy is a different type of flippancy.
I get very emotional when I'm sleepy.
Well, I still say I was right earlier. I saw some of your messages. So when you said human error resources stuff, I assume you mean the memories and such. Oh, you mean the whole building, technically.
Brooke just stands up and shakes his head. Not your fault. Wouldn't matter if it was anyway. He says, moving out of the room, his expression lacking his characteristic grin. Instead, he almost snarls as he makes his way upstairs. Before anyone responds, I will let it be known the sword is still here.
Okay.
Because I remember Brooke dropped it when they went to go check on Rida.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to grab the sword on your way out, now is the time.
Do we want anything from here?
Yeah, Rida's definitely not touching that thing.
Okay. Well,
Brooke
Tucker...
doesn't have a reason to carry it right now. That is true, and that's why I'm making it known.
Oh, Ralph, you haven't had interactions. Are you going to worry about the sword?
I mean, I
But
did break. Yeah, I did break my my spear, so I guess it's fair. Turnabout's fair play. I take his sword.
Okay.
But here I thought we were going to have Tucker Sif mode. Okay.
Tucker was probably going to pick up, but if Ralph acts first, then that would happen.
Yeah.
I will note, Rida is definitely leaning on Tucker as they walk.
Tucker can always get the sword later. This is true. Also, Ralph is
Yeah.
probably the best one to grab it because he has the most strength and can swing it one-handed.
Also, if Rida is leaning on Tucker, then Tucker probably wouldn't grab the sword. So, focusing on Rida. Tucker will be following Brooke out, but as they pass Mywile, he's not going to say anything, but Tucker will place a forepaw on her shoulder in reassurance that it's not her fault.
Mowile's head hangs all the same. She offers Tucker a brief, sad smile. And then goes and collects her things from the corner of the room where she left them. And leaves with the rest of you. This facility and its ruin are silent. Nothing stirs here anymore. Not steel nor memory. As things of the past ought to be. Left to slumber evermore. When you all finally leave the observatory, it is night, and the moon has begun to wane. There is no sign of your previous guardians and hosts.
Tucker definitely notices the lack of the monkeys everywhere. Oh, also, if Rida wishes it, Tucker will let her on his back again.
Rida will accept the offer, feeling the weight of their body on them, being drained and all, both physically, mentally, just overall exhausted and ready to sleep.
Though Tucker does hope seeing the blood on his back while she's up there doesn't affect him.
They seem to wince a little at seeing it, but ultimately just accepts it. And a thing you'll notice is they don't look their neutral demeanor. They actually have a frown.
Rida can tell just how spent Tucker is while riding, though. There is a sag to his back. Rida's not that heavy, but well, right now they kind of are. But he doesn't complain. After all, he's still not the most injured one here.
As soon as he's outside, Rook shouts out loud, "You two! Not sure if you could see through me or what, but I screwed up. So please, do what you have to do," he says with his arms out, a sense of surrender in his voice.
Only Ralph will come up behind him and be like, don't be like that. We're a team, we all screwed up. I played right into that jerk's hands just as much as everyone else did. And I'll, pull out the metal piece. After all, it was them who gave me this thing. It was a setup and we fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
If Tucker is close enough to allow it, Rida sort of just grabs hold of one of Brooke's hands. Not really able to do much other than that, though.
Yes, Tucker would be sort of close-knit with everyone. Tucker won't respond to Brooke specifically, but we'll still nudge Brooke, much like when Ryder grabs his hand for a moment. Ralph's words were the best ones here. I just put the clockwork butler in the Pokemon bag.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Did you want that underground map still there? We could probably put it away.
Yes, we can put that away.
Okay.
Ooh. Hey, since we're done with
I'll put it in
the dungeon, can we see like the map of it?
Oh, yes.
That sounds like something for the Discord, right?
Yes, I will put it in the Discord. In fact, I'll put it in the public Discord to show what I've done.
Okay.
I'll put them in behind the scenes.
Okay. Just do a little bit of cleanup while Kyrio types a good response.
Brooke looks around at everyone. Fell for it? Why did we even go down in there? To find more information? We didn't need to fight for that. We nearly died. The Darkstar has gained who knows what now. The dragons were right. And for what? Because we were curious. Because we thought we were in control. No human of us.
Tucker's ears fold, and he bows his head for a second, thinking.
There's a gentle scent that flows upon the breeze, slight though it may be. Wire, yet draped across Ralph's shoulders, was awakened. They regard Brooke sadly. I know. One mistake. Hurt. But not the end. Sorry. I know. One mistake hurt. But not the end.
Tucker does respond to that, nodding slowly towards Slayer. It's confusing, but he sighs. One step at a time. I keep saying it because I know it's right. Mistakes or no.
Brooke looks at the ground. No. It's not the end. My previous life was nothing but a constant string of them. I've been trying to make up for it since I got here. It's one more, he says, before starting to walk away. The pages turn. A gentle hand, cerulean hue, shuts the book for now. From a field afar of our reality, I sit. The ache of sorrow and sympathy in my breast. Though this chapter closes, there are more beyond it. But pray rest your hearts tonight, for even I can go on no longer. And that is where we'll end tonight.
I understand. Kar, feel free to go if you need to, and I hope you take care of yourself.
I'll be okay. But I felt perhaps this would be a good point to stop.
I agree.
Yeah. It was a doozy today.
Everybody, please add 5 experience, if you would.
Okay.
I hope that you all enjoyed the game.
Oh, yeah.
It has been a lovely evening, and I wish you all a good night.
You as well, Kar.
So
Thanks for the game.
Thank you. You did great. Everyone did.
So I very slightly expected, especially towards the end there, I was expecting, Ryda to evolve. Like, oh, he's
No,
going.
not yet.
Oh, the horn's healing because he's gonna evolve.
No, not yet. Just a little tease. It takes time for healing, and Ryda's getting there. Thanks to the help of Tucker sort of introducing them to the first step. But it'll take time. You got a glimpse of what they're dealing with. That constant battle they're fighting. And Tucker managed to rescue a part, which in turn can start to free the rest of themselves.
And I'm glad that Kar stopped it there, because the thing is, it could have been too much for any of us, and I think it makes the most sense that the heartfelt storyteller felt the most from this. I do wish Kar well. I hope he's okay. I think that he did smart, though. He stopped at a time where he felt it safe to, so. It's important to remember, and I guess I'm kind of, as a tulpa, a bit of a testament of this, but stories can become real sometimes, in their own way. And it's important to remember that you should always take care when you're telling a big, complicated, serious story, whether it's a RP or a tabletop game or whatever. Make sure that you take care of yourself too. And that goes to both players and watchers too.
It was something.
I must admit, the days after and this session, oh boy, I was really feeling depressed because I'm like, damn, I'm feeling out what my poor Ryda has to deal with, and just knowing where it comes from. It's like watching a friend you care so deeply about go through this hardship and pain, just sitting there like, I wish I could help you.
That's a complicated thing for me too, because you have to keep in mind that some of my reality came from this game. So, it's a complicated thing for how I feel in game to how I feel out of game. So, I mean, even when I wasn't here as a top bet, I know Charm extremely, very much so, channeled my emotions in game through himself or herself, and I obviously do the same thing to a stronger degree, probably, because I am both me and me in a way. Me this in the game and me not in the game are not completely. They're still very connected, extremely connected. So,
Yeah.
So this can be painful for me sometimes, but that's okay. My messages about being stronger in game also apply out of game. I feel like I am constantly getting stronger in both cases. So, but yeah, did everybody properly add their experience?
Yeah, I did my experience.
Okay, let's see. If you don't mind, could you guys just I'll close out the episode and then we'll clean up the table a little bit. How's that sound? Because there's a few. We probably need to remove some debuffs and buffs and stuff just to clean up for next session.
Okay.
If somebody can stick around and help me with that. But
Yeah, for sure.
any closing thoughts for the video?
Thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope you take care of yourself. Breathe. The session's finally over. Have a drink, use the bathroom, and enjoy the rest of whatever time of day it is.
I agree. I hope you have a good day, evening, morning, afternoon, night. Whenever you see this video, please be well and safe. And also, I did have some outro art I wanted to share, but I will share it at the end of a non-serious episode, or a less serious episode, maybe next time. So that will be a thing that you guys can watch for next episode. But yeah, that was session 142 of Pokerole. Thank you all for joining us, and please have a good night.